Welcome to the tutorial on creating your own color wheel. The color wheel is a very useful tool in any artist's toolbox. I will often go and refer to my color wheel while working on a project or painting. This is a standard 12 color wheel containing primaries, secondaries, and tertiary colors. Let's talk about supplies. First we have our paints. This is Winsor Newton Galleria acrylic. Middle of the road, not very expensive, but you do have to get the right colors. If you don't get the right colors, they may not mix properly going down the line. This is a cadmium red, cobalt blue, and cadmium yellow pale. You'll need a sharp pair of scissors, a soft bristle brush, a nylon or synthetic bristle will work well and not give you as many brush strokes. Bristol board or heavy quality drawing paper, and a palette to mix your paint on. You can use a plastic tray as a palette. I like to use a paper palette. This is just a gray piece of paper palette that has a plastic coating on it so that you can mix your paint and it's easy cleanup. You just throw it away when you're done. So that's pretty much everything you'll need. Let's get started. So now it's time to begin painting our swatches for the color wheel. We're going to start with our cadmium yellow and our cadmium red. Yellow is the lightest of the three colors and is most easily influenced by adding a color to it. So we're going to start with this one first, and you'll soon see what I mean. You want to put a healthy portion of paint on your palette. Too often, students will not use enough paint and then they'll run out halfway through, and that can be very frustrating. So we're going to load up our brush with yellow and we're going to paint our first swatch with just the plain yellow. That's all there is to it. So now we'll slowly start adding red into the yellow, and we'll get progressively more and more warm, or in this case ending up with an orange. I'm going to get a little bit more yellow here on my palette, and I'm just going to get a tiny little touch of red. You can see I only took a tiny bit. I'm going to start mixing that in. You can see how greatly that small amount of red influenced the yellow. I'm actually going to take a little extra yellow and put it back in. Make sure that's nice and mixed. And I'm going to add my second swatch. Now we may not be using this swatch. We're going to go back and we're going to pick out the best ones. But the best way to do it is to go step by step like this. So I just added a little more red. I'm going to continue with my swatches. Now you can see with this last swatch I painted, I'm almost all the way back to my pure red. So I think this is going to be my last swatch. And then I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to get some pure red for this spot. And then we'll just continue with the rest of the primary colors, working from yellow to blue, and then from red to blue. So after you've completed all of your swatches, you'll have this beautiful rainbow of colors in front of you. We're going from yellow to red to violet somewhere in here to blue, green, and then the tertiary colors in between. So what we need to do now is select the swatches that we want to highlight for our color wheel. So we'll do the easy ones first. We know we're going to use yellow. We know we're going to use red. And we know we're going to use blue. The most difficult one to find will probably be the violet in here. And the secret to this is to look at the colors and try to pick one that's not leaning towards blue and not leaning towards red. So if I follow this along, these all still have a red tint to them. This one might be close. And if I follow these ones, these have blue, a little bit of blue. So I think our violet is going to be somewhere in here. When I look at the three of these, this one still has a tint of red to it. It sits towards the warm side. And this one might be a little cool. So I'm going to say that this is going to be our violet. Do it upside down for you, violet. Okay. Green should be a little easier. Okay. Going from blue green and yellow green, it looks to me like this is our best green. Okay. And on this side, this would be our orange. So now we have our primary and secondary colors. We need to pick out our tertiary colors. So moving from red, we have red-orange. So same premise. You move from red to orange, and you choose the one that's not more red or not more orange. So it looks to me that this would be our best bet for red-orange. Okay. And we need a yellow-orange. We need a red-violet. We have a lot to choose from here. I think that would be our best bet. From violet to blue, we need a blue-violet in this range. These look a little too close to this one. I think this might be our best bet. Blue-violet. I'm sorry I'm writing the letters upside down. Now, going from blue to green, we need to find a blue-green. And I think this is it. That's a pretty color. And then finally, we'll be going back to yellow, but in between yellow and green we have yellow-green. And I think that's going to reside right about here. Okay, so then we have our 12 colors for our 12 color wheel. The next thing I'd like to do is get ready to prepare them for our presentation on the wheel itself. So I just cut out a small piece of chipboard. You could take the back of your Bristol board pad or your paper pad and just measure and cut yourself a 1-inch square. And then what we'll do is we find a nice clean spot in our color. Put that down. Trace around. Now we have a nice perfect square that we're going to cut out later. And then we can glue that down onto our wheel. And I'm just going to do that with the rest of these colors that we chose. Okay, so I have finished cutting out all of my swatches. I have my 1-inch squares neatly cut with a scissor. I laid out my primaries here so you can see that all these colors were made from the yellow, the red, and the blue. And coming down the line we have yellow-green, yellow, yellow-orange, orange, red-orange, red, red-violet, violet, blue-violet, blue, blue-green, and green. So on this paper here, it's very difficult to see on camera, but I did a light pencil line in the middle of the paper, about 5.5 inches around. I used a compass. And this is going to help us to lay out our swatches in a nice orderly fashion so we have a good presentation in the end. Start with red at the top and then green at the bottom, and then you can work your other colors in around the sides. So there you go. Now you just put a little drop of glue under each one, let it set, and your color wheel will be ready to hang in your studio for use.